Would you like to talk about a guy whose career was formerly kind of alive, but now it's kind of not?
That could be a lot of people.
I got an email, and this person's name is Mark, and the way he wrote it, it's not like he's calling himself a Mark, but his name is Mark. And I won't narrow it down any more than that because he could face retribution also. But he says, "Hi, Jim and Brian. My name is Mark. I'm a wrestling fan from Ireland, and I'm reaching out to you in regards to comments and attitude from Jungle Boy." Can you find audio of a monkey taking a shit and throwing it at somebody?
Hold on. Keep going.
All right, anyway, it was at the For the Love of Wrestling event here in Manchester, he says. And this was a big convention they just had over in Manchester, England, where they had tons of current and former wrestling stars from a variety of companies and Hall of Famers and whole nine yards. And apparently Mark was there. He continues, Jungle Boy had very short cues. That's what they call lines over there. Very short lines in comparison to most legends and other current AEW stars in attendance. And following my own interaction with him and his comments during his Q&A with the fans on Saturday, I understand why. As part of the package I purchased, autographs and selfies with each star were included. I approached Jack Perry's table, scanned my ticket with the attendant working with him, confirmed with the hostess that the selfie and voice note I was looking to do with him were included. Okay, now I guess that's the kids do recordings of now on their phones, voice note. Is that what that would be?
Yeah, the kids have been doing that on their phones for about 20 years now.
Yeah, like I said, the kids, So that's what a voice note is. It's I guess, when they used to say in the 90s, "Ooh, I got my video camera. Can you say hello to me?" Anyway, she confirmed that they were included. I greeted Jack, thanked him for coming over, and asked would it be okay for a selfie and a quick voice note for the podcast I do with some Irish-based wrestling fans. Jack responded, "Yeah, I'll do the selfie, but not doing the voice note," with no further explanation. His aide interjected, "Oh, sorry, Jack. It's included in this gentleman's See, I'm trying to give you the whole...
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to give you the whole experience here where you can feel like you're right there as I'm telling this story, and you know that the lady, the hostess, had an English accent because they're in Manchester, so she said...
That's not a Manchester accent.
She said, "Oh, sorry, Jack. It's included in this gentleman's package." But he simply shrugged it off.
He said, "Look at this gentleman's package," and he left.
After the selfie, I asked if he had many more independent bookings out this way in the future. He replied with a curt, "Nah, I'm not traveling here again soon," and went back to his phone. Sir, they're at a I've been to some flea markets, like the flea market here, and one time in Nashville where it was a little sparse. And, I had time to sit around and contemplate, the various displays. But if he's at a wrestling convention and he's got time to sit there and fiddle with his phone.
I actually got several emails about this. I didn't know you got any. Here's one from Ram in London.
Oh, wait, are you interrupting my goddamn reading?
Oh, keep going with yours. I thought you were done with yours. I was going to add on to it.
There's all kinds of shit to go here. I got the full report here, Brian.
Oh.
So anyway, I'll not be traveling here again soon, and went back to his phone. His aide gave me an awkward, apologetic smile. She said, "I'm sorry." I thanked both of them for their time and left. My friend who was standing nearby remarked, "Jesus, he'd eat himself if he could." Later in the day, he had an in-ring. This is the good part. See, you almost didn't let me get to the good part. Later in the day, he had an in-ring Q&A session with a large group of young fans in attendance. One young fan, no more than 12. I think it was Bobby Lou Who. Asked if he had one wrestling match to watch before he died, what would it be? Jack responded, "If I'm about to die, I'm not watching wrestling. Watching wrestling would be the last thing I would do. Sounds so depressing to me." I think the question is probably not like, okay, you're going to die in an hour.
You're on a desert island. What 5 albums do you take? I mean, everyone's been asked this kind of thing.
What match do you want to see before you die? Not, okay, you've been given the lethal injection.
I don't want to die.
For killing fucking AEW's business. And now you've got to pick one. You don't know. You might not want to watch wrestling then at all, but just so there's no deadline on the death is what we're saying. But anyway, then, now you made me lose my place. Later in the Q&A, he was asked by another young fan about who in AEW he would seek help from for producing his matches. He advised that he would only listen and take advice from people who have a similar style to himself and he can relate to. He noted that Luchasaurus is a big help in piecing his matches together, which explains a lot, and also advised he would never listen to Billy Gunn, a guy who loses his mind if he even sees one Canadian destroyer in a match, and he said so entirely seriously. So this... Again, who?
I got more. Is there more? Do you have more?
Hold on. There's one bottom line here, but I just want to comment on that statement. Who will you listen to and take advice from? People that I like that do the same shit that I do. And it says a lot that he thinks that Dino Douche ought to be piecing anything together except a fucking roadmap to a goddamn wrestling school. And Billy Gunn has absolutely nothing to offer because he thinks it's ridiculous that you should do your own backflip and land on your own head multiple times in a match, especially if it's not the finish. This is where this fucking clown's head's at. So Mark made, and thank you, Mark, for this email, but he made the closing comment, and he said, in contrast, Adam Cole and FTR were thankful and engaging with the fans, going out of their way to make everybody welcome, blah, blah, blah. But for an event called For the Love of Wrestling, for Jungle Boy to be so dismissive of the idea of loving wrestling and not being gracious enough to engage and courteous to young fans in attendance and acting like an outright arrogant knob. So that would go ahead if you've got more to contribute to this.
We received several emails about this. I'll just touch on a couple of them. This one's from Ram in London. I came back from the For the Love of Wrestling convention in Manchester. Jack Perry, aka Jungle Boy, came on the panel along with Anna Jay and Ruby Soho. A fan from the audience asked, "What does it take to become a wrestler?" Jungle Boy then replied, "Just don't do it."
Yep.
I looked at my cousin and thought,
what is he talking about, crack cocaine or pro wrestling?
I looked at my cousin and thought, what a poor attitude this guy has. Do you agree that this is a poor mindset that most of the youngsters have these days is causing a problem with the new generation of wrestling, that it sucks?
Well, let me just make a comment that, yeah, me right now, I'd tell people don't fucking do this shit, but I've seen when you could actually do this shit and be successful at it without jumping through hoops. But for someone currently right now doing it to say, oh no, you're a fucking idiot if you do this. Well, yeah, okay.
Well, here's another email from Paul in Northern Ireland. This one's entitled, "Jungle Boy is a bellend." Hi, Jim and Brian. This past weekend, I attended a fan fest in Manchester where there were some AEW stars in attendance. Sadly, no MJF, but I did get to meet FTR. There was a Q&A panel with Ruby Soho, Anna Jay, and Jungle Boy, which confirmed to me that Jungle Boy is one of the most unlikable baby faces I have ever seen. He was asked, who inspired him to be a wrestler? And he said he saw a video of Marco's stunt on YouTube.
No.
He came across as half-assed.
Wait.
He was joking,
he really
obviously.
Actually?
No, he must have been joking. Just timeline-wise, I don't think it's possible.
But goddamn, you never know about these things.
He came across as half-assed and uninterested, only answering some questions, and wasn't impressed when someone asked if he could see himself working with CM Punk. Ruby stole the show, getting asked the most questions from the crowd to the point where they had to ask if there were any questions for Anna and Jungle Boy. Ruby's heroes were Jazz and Awesome Kong. No surprise that Anna's were the Bellas.
Oh, good Lord.
Best thing about the day was meeting Demolition, which was the main reason I went, but FTR and the Powers of Pain were also very cool guys. Thank you, Paul in Northern Ireland. And like I said, we got another email, so big babyface Jungle Boy certainly made a big impact on the UK fans.
Well, apparently, the lack of personality that he has on the television program is him acting out and being all energetic and full of piss and vinegar compared to the way he mopes around his real life and other commitments. I mean,
and by the way, with all the problems in AEW, Tony Khan shouldn't be happy about the idea that this wrestler went out there and named one of the producers or one of the agents, I forget what Billy Gunn's exact title is, beyond being on-air talent, and said, I don't listen to a guy like that who hates everything he sees.
Well, I have a feeling it's not a surprise to Tony. Because I know Billy Gunn better than I know, Jungle Jim here, or whatever his fucking name is. And I would imagine that Billy Gunn is the person who's told Tony, well, yeah, I tell these guys shit, but they don't listen to me. So what the fuck? But again, you hear constantly about this guy's attitude, and it shows in his performance. He does the cool little combative Cirque du Soleil, aggressive parkour, roughneck, cheerleading. What are we calling it this week? And that's what he likes to do. And when he needs to do anything else, he can't, and he doesn't want to.
Jim, here's audio of a monkey throwing poop on a grandma.
He got your grandma.
Right on the nose is a big piece of shit just hanging off her nose.
Pardon me, ma'am, you've got shit on your nose. Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, keep that, because that can be our monkey poo flinging clip. And every time more of these guys fling poo on each other, we go, wait a minute, breaking news. And you got some on your face, Grandma. It's time to fling some monkey poo.
Hey, with this Jungle Boy story, and I think it's a great idea for him to come out there and just start pooping on stage and throwing it into the crowd. It may get him really over. But the idea that you have a babyface, someone who's presented as a babyface, someone who's always been on TV as a babyface, and they're complete shitheels when they deal with fans. This isn't a unique story. It's not just Jungle Boy. It's all throughout history. There have been dickhead babyfaces. Usually the heels were the really nice guys when you got to know the wrestlers. But what do? I mean, do you make a change when it's this, when you can't even just, at a convention of wrestling fans, be happy at all?
Well, again, look where it was. It was in England. They're going to Wembley. He's not only doing it, he's not just doing it at the flea market in Fresno or whatever, but he's doing it at this high-profile convention where I saw pictures on Twitter from this thing where they had gotten a bus to transport the numerous talents, wherever they were going. So, I mean, this is a big deal. Apparently, a lot of people were there, and it's here in the country where they're trying to go to Wembley, and he's supposed to be one of the big baby faces, that he's making enough impression on people that they're commenting on it more than the occasional, disgruntled Karen that you sometimes get. That's not good PR just for himself or just in general. And I would think that was this something that since FTR were there also a Jungle Boy, did Tony send them to do promotion there? They were obviously being paid by somebody to do autographs and do whatever. So whoever paid them, if it was not Tony, getting this kind of feedback, should call the office and say, hey, we fucking fulfilled whatever agreements that we had, and this guy fucking mopes his way through everything and blows people off, so we're not happy about that. We won't be asking him back. Just thought you ought to know. Or if Tony sent him over there to promote to fucking Wembley, then he ought to say, hey, asshole, you're a babyface. I didn't send you over there to blow people off and piss them off or, act like you don't give a shit. I sent you over there to get them excited because you're excited. I'm going to come into Wembley Stadium.
Last thing about this, and again, judging based on what you see on TV as much as what you hear in these stories, is there only so much time left on Jungle Boy as a babyface?
Well, you might as well just put the period after boy, because him a heel, I mean, just because he's an asshole doesn't mean he'd be a good heel. If he doesn't understand at this point the things he doesn't understand, and he doesn't want to listen to people's advice, and he doesn't want to make his matches any better, and he doesn't want to make his promos any better as a babyface that he's already established as, have we heard that he's, fuck it, I wouldn't enjoy wrestling unless they turn me heel. Until they turn me heel, I'm just phoning it in. No, he's not saying that. So if they turn him heel, he'll be an unmotivated fucking heel that's teeny tiny and has cute hair. This works for him. His little fucking Johnny Sheffield, all grown up and out of the shadow of Johnny Weissmuller look. Google those, kids. That works for a baby face, but not a heel with cute hair and a cute face and 160 pounds with no physique. That's not to your benefit, it's to your detriment.